last episode, we told you that we were going to have a guest on the show, and with it's kind of timely now that a lot of people are going to be, more and more at home, able to watch movies, at their own time, leisurely. If you're going to be at home and checking out a movie, and you love boxing or mixed martial arts, or really just love great underdog stories with great acting and a great story. Check out Ragdoll. It was directed by Bailey Colby. Stars Shannon Murray. She plays Nora Phoenix, and we actually did an interview with Shannon discussing the film and upcoming projects that she has as well.
So we're going to go ahead and play the interview. Make sure to enjoy that. Again, watch the Ragdoll movie. It's a great movie. A lot of you are going to be hunkered down anyway.
Hunkered down.
Check it out.
All right. I'm here with Shannon Murray, star of Ragdoll, the movie that recently just came out, directed by Bailey Colby. And she stars in the movie as Nora Phoenix. So one of the first questions I wanted to ask you, Shannon, regarding your career is what exactly got you into acting?
I had a sports injury. I was running track. I had to get ankle surgery at that when I had got the injury, and it put me out for the hockey season that following year in school. And so I decided to try out for the school play, and I fell in love. Just that whole manipulation of emotion, of making people laugh, and then pulling them in and making them cry, and feeling all of those emotions, and knowing that I was pulling those strings. It was a cool power to have, and I knew that that's the kind of creativeness that I wanted to do. And I always loved watching movies and just dissecting camera moves and colors, and trying to get in the psyche of why they chose to do this or that. And I always loved the filmmaking part, but once I discovered acting, discovered it was actually an attainable dream, an attainable job, I started chasing it.
One of the best things I think about Ragdoll is one of the themes I picked on is a lot of the times the battle or your biggest battles are with yourself, or you're battling yourself, and some of the best characters are a lot of the times based on real people, or maybe it's yourself just turned up the volume a little bit. Did you seek any inspiration from any of your fellow actors, or maybe from your own life experiences to play Nora?
I pulled from a bunch of different areas, different lows in my life, or meeting other women that are in the fight world, because there's a lot of these characteristics in women that are in the gym. And I met some women who have, or even men that have just psychological breaks, or they decide they've gone down the wrong path, and fighting has gotten them out of it. It's helped them to find that outlet, to channel their aggression or channel their thoughts, and kind of get it, instead of going to see a psychiatrist, the bag is their psychiatrist. The being in that gym is their health, their hospital, their health.
Right.
So that's for me. I never thought, for whatever reason, to do a fight film. Of course, as an actress, I wanted to do a fight film, but to produce one, it hadn't occurred to me earlier. Because for me, going to the gym, going to Muay Thai, going to wherever, that was just what I needed to do for Shannon. That wasn't I'm going to train because this is good for stunts, or this is good to have on my special skills. That was a me thing. And then so when I was looking for a script, I really thought about what sets me apart. And I was like, oh, well, there's Muay Thai and martial arts. That sets me apart. I should look for a script for that.
Yeah, I saw that listed, for when I was looking up press for the movie, that it stated, that a lot of the actors involved in the film, that they had some kind of background either with sports or MMA itself. On set for the movie, how was it shooting a lot of those fight scenes? And did you go through any, special training before shooting the movie?
We did. Our fight choreographer, Martin Wheeler, he teaches Sistema at the Academy in Beverly Hills. So all the fights were safely choreographed, and we would go over it and over and over it. So that way, on the day, we get in the cage, boom, boom, or into the gym, and everything would be easy and flawless. No one would get hurt. But as well as that fight choreography training, we did training at the Yard, which is a Muay Thai gym downtown, and because Roxy, who plays Aisha in the film, she was a boxer, but she didn't have MMA training, so she was training with me at the Yard, and then doing the systemic training at the academy.
Oh wow! And you know what? One of my favorite parts of the movie was actually that kind of relationship between you, or Nora's character, and Aisha, or yourself and Roxana Sanchez. Did you the movie was nominated, I know you guys went through a large, independent film festival run, and I was looking at a lot of the awards that the movie ended up winning. The one that kind of captured my eye first was best ensemble at the Queens World Film Festival. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like shooting on set and kind of the camaraderie you guys may have had, making that kind of movie?
It was awesome. We had a lot of fun because for me, I got to act with everybody. So when it came time to do like the premiere, I was like, oh, you guys know each other. Like, no, we've never met. I was like, oh, right. You guys didn't get to do scenes together. So I got to work with everybody, and everyone was amazing, which I think winning the ensemble one was the perfect award for our movie, because our cast, each individual actor did such a great job, and Bailey did such a great job at making each character have depth. And if you go through and you can pick a character and you see their little journey and their thoughts and what they're going through, like the pharmacist, and you realize she has a hearing aid and she's deaf, and that's just a lot of different things, little quirks throughout the film for each character. And filming the fight scenes, Roxy and I had a great time. Roxy Dot and we had a lot of fun, lots of jokes, such a horsing around, and luckily Roxy's a complete badass. She was, if I wanted to go harder, she would go harder. If she wanted to go harder, I would, we just pushed each other and elevated each other to just keep going. And for the final fight scene, I think we just went through it over and over and over and over and over for all day. So we probably went 6 hours just going and going and going with that fight scene.
Oh my gosh! So the final fight scene, the film kind of crescendos up to that moment at the end where you battle Aisha at the end of the film, or at the end of the tournament there. So what I wanted to ask you as well, you worked with a lot of great actors on the film. Two of my favorite characters, and you were right. There's so many good characters in the film that Nora ends up interacting with. But I really love the relationship between Nora and her mom, Catherine. Stephanie Erb, and then even her trainer, Roisin, who's played by Dot Marie Jones. Did you get any inspiration or advice from them, while shooting the movie?
We were so run and gun. I don't know if we've got any advice per se, but with Stephanie, we had an instant chemistry, because it was like she was my mom. It was easy to relate to her and have those bickering moments and then the loving moments. And Roisin just reminded me a lot of my track coach, so that was easy to relate to her and have that kind of chemistry flowing between us. And they were just super cool women to work with. They're, good at what they do, and it was just so quick. They knew what they wanted to do. They get in, they get out, and then just move on. So it wasn't too much of like rehearsal and going through.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that because, there was a lot of, photos put up about, showing Bailey, filming you guys shoot those fight scenes, especially the one at the end there. So was that, I know you said it was about 6 hours. Was that something that, before you guys started shooting, that I know you mentioned earlier, the fight choreographer, Martin Wheeler, that you guys went over kind of what you were looking for before filming it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we so the final fight, we had an idea of what we could. So like, Aisha's the champion of the gym. She's great at Muay Thai. She's great at Jiu-Jitsu. She's got the stand-up game, and she's got the ground game. And Nora, who's new to this, she's just strong. So she has her strength and just heart. So her heart and her strength powers her through the whole tournament, and she's able to win or get to that final fight. So we want to show how like how she was able to do that and how she's going to go about, trying to beat someone like Aisha. And, it's just, she gets her butt handed to her, like she would. And, and then just, I guess heart kind of prevails. Yeah, I'm gonna give away the ending, though I might have already done that.
You know what? One of the other things about the film, and I think that makes it relatable to not, I don't think you have to be an MMA fan or boxing fan, to enjoy the movie Ragdoll. But it sounds like yourself, you're a fellow cinephile, somebody who loves film. Did you kind of pick up any kind of, before starting this film, there's, of course, a lot of great sports movies, of course, things like Rocky or The Hurricane with Denzel Washington, and even, going back, The Warrior with Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton was probably one of my favorites as well. Did you pick up any inspiration or, watch those movies before you started filming?
I mean, I'm already, I love action films, of action and fight films. So I had already seen Warrior, I can't even tell you how many times.
And same
with Rocky movies. I love fight films. But I say I tried to do more research on MMA, underground MMA films, just to see because there aren't many. So I wanted to see what was out there. And at the time when we were filming, Lady Bloodsport had just come out. So I got to, just watching to see what other MMA or other female fight films were doing at that time. I think now there's a bunch that are going to be coming out, like Halle Berry's in one, a new MMA film that's going to be coming out probably next year or later this year. I'm not sure. There's going to be a string of good female fight films, I think.
Now, when you're doing a film like this, and you said, I know you wanted to look at a lot of more underground MMA films that have been made more recently. Did you draw on any inspiration from any female MMA fighters, people like, Heather Hardy, Amanda Serrano, or Amanda Nunes? Like, maybe just to come up with a look or, an inspiration of how you wanted Nora to act or to be like?
Yeah, I actually pulled from Ronda Rousey. I wanted that kind of hardness that she has. So I wanted her look, cut off sleeves and not polished, though, now Ronda's a little more polished. But I just wanted to kind of have that sort of vibe and look to her, like stocky and, thick. So I started trying to put on more muscle for the role, so she had that, thickness to her.
Yeah, she definitely has one of the best intros. Like, when she steps into the octagon, she reminded me of, Mike Tyson almost. In her prime, where she just looked like her face. I was like, I definitely do not want to mess with her whatsoever. Kind of switching gears here, because you are an actress that is also a producer. And I know that you were, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a producer for the film Ragdoll. So what are some of the responsibilities? I'm always curious about this. What are some of the responsibilities of a producer? What are some of the things that you had to do versus, of course, on top of, getting ready to act and film a scene? And what did you have to do as a producer for the film?
I mean, every film's different. Depends on, what your budget's like, and if you can afford the crew to bring on to handle everything. But we were, for ours, we had a smaller crew, and we wanted to keep our resources small and low. So for me, it was crewing up, finding the right crew who would have the right attitude for the type of film and the time slots. We kept our days pretty reasonable. They were 12-hour days, so it wasn't bad. But the time and the days and just the close quarters that we would be in. So we wanted to find the right crew, bring them in, try to find the cast. So we would, we had a casting director, and Bailey would take on most of the casting meetings, but then I would come in to do reads, trying to find people that would, have the right chemistry across for me, and then locations, any sort of our co-producer, Kate Float, she would be on top of most things, but if she wasn't finding the right location or the right this or right that, then just like, okay, well, let's all band together. Let's find stunt pads, or I have resources for this, I have resources for that. So just running around trying to source everything, making sure we're good to go, and then and then post-production is really where the producer hat comes on after filming. Just making sure post sound, the editing's there, doing all of the outreach, the film festivals, going to all the film festivals, submitting to them, going to them. And then just, I'm in charge of like social media and making the posts and the graphics, making artwork for all the film festivals and all the postcards. And when film festivals were happening, I'd go to the local gyms in whatever city we were in, and I'd hand out postcards to tell them about the film that way. Because, you have to do everything in waves. Like you have to hit people like 7 times before they're like, all right, fine, I'll watch your movie. or I'll remember to watch your movie. So we just try to get as many waves out there as possible. Just keep reminding them, so that way when we had our release, we get more eyes on it.
That's actually leads into another question I had for you, Shannon, regarding some of the differences between an independent film festival run, and then I know last week you guys had a bit of a theatrical run for the movie, where the movie debuted out in Los Angeles. What are some of the differences between doing things on the independent film circuit versus having the movie come out, for a theatrical release?
Well, to me, the film circuit was, or the film festival circuit was really important for us because we were smaller. I think it helped us to secure distribution and build up a fan base, build up people to support us. I mean, I met so many great people on the festival circuit that are so supportive, and they share it on their pages, and they tell people about it. So it was like that. It introduced me to so many other filmmakers and people, like-minded people. So I think it's very important. But you can't just do the film festival circuit. Like you have to. It's a hustle. Like if you're gonna go somewhere, make it worth it. Go to those gyms. Go to film schools. I went to high schools and talked to the film class there, or at their schools, and just make the most of it. Talk to mental health facilities for our film. Just whatever the underlying theme of your film is, try to go out there and sell it to the mass. Because now it's different. The theatrical runs aren't what they used to be. Your whole goal was to get it in theaters, and now people prefer to watch it in their homes because they want to go see the Marvel films and any action film or horror film. They'll go to the theater. Anything else, usually for the most part, we want to watch it at home. So doing a theatrical run, a large theatrical run, we felt like we already did that with the festival circuit.
Right.
So we were just like, let's just do a week in Los Angeles. Whoever hasn't gotten to see it that's in the industry, hopefully they can make it out to see the film. But otherwise, it's all, video on demand until streaming comes along. So.
Yeah, no, I definitely can see that. Yeah, times have changed, and you're correct with that. With as many people using things like Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu, etc. A lot of movies are, as we saw like late last year, Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, came out on Netflix. So we've definitely been seeing that a lot more. I know that it is. I think the movie theater experience is turning more into where they want to make it different than sitting at home. Where a lot of the theaters, over here where I'm at, all of them are all kind of with lounge seating now, and they have like a restaurant at the theater. So, it's become, a lot different, than how it used to be. But,
yeah, it's more of like an event.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly why I think those, and you referenced it, a lot of those Marvel films, make as much money as they do because it feels like a social event that everybody, wants to be a part of in some way. Moving into some, of the other projects that you're going to be working on soon, or may have already worked on. I wanted to ask you about a movie in production, or currently in production, called Miami Heat, that stars, and forgive me if I mispronounce his real name, Oleg Prudius, who used to
Pretty.
be Vladimir Kozlov in his WWE days. Can you
Hmm.
talk a little bit about the Miami Heat movie? Maybe what's it about and what it was like working with Mr. Prudius?
It was awesome. He's really really good. He has this very intense look where you're like, oh God, please break a smile. It's just the look alone is scary. And then he's just a big teddy bear, big old laugh and big old smile. But he's very professional. Like wants to make sure he does everything the best that he can, which is admirable, and he's easy to work with. We had a blast. We got to have a car chase in Miami.
Right.
We got to shoot some guns. We had fake ones, but semi-automatic weapons, and we had handguns, and there was knife fights. I got to shoot a sniper rifle twice. So I was like, it was pretty cool. We had fun.
Wow.
But basically, the premise is someone steals our daughter, and she's being sold into sex slavery. They coerced her into coming to this modeling audition at this club, but it's actually the sex ring or sex slavery ring that's going on in the city of Miami, which apparently Miami is a really bad place for sex trafficking. There's a lot of it happening down there. Florida is, I think, one of the worst places, like Florida, Atlanta, and California, some of the top places. And so our daughter gets stolen, and little do they know that her parents are complete badasses and have like arsenals and weapons hidden everywhere. So then they go and kick some ass and take on the bad guys.
Wow, I definitely look forward to seeing that film. Hopefully, in the near future here. But before we actually, started recording the interview, I wanted to definitely ask you about an opportunity that you told me about off air. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you're going to be doing, maybe over the next couple of days?
Sure. So I have an audition. I have a tryout for the WWE. It had come in November, and then happenstance, getting to work with Oleg, who was in the WWE, in December and January, and then I got my tryout date 3 weeks ago, and so I'll leave next week to go down to Orlando and have my tryout. So I've been busting my butt in the gym, trying to make sure I'm completely ready for it. So.
Oh man, is WWE something that you may have watched when you were a kid, or something that you're kind of still into now?
Oh yeah, I used to watch it. I have two older brothers, so they were huge into it, which meant that I was huge into it.
Right.
I wanted to do whatever they were doing, and I love wrestling. Like we would get, for us, we didn't have, we lived in the sticks. I'm from Delaware, so we didn't have satellite or cable. So we'd have to go to the cable provider place and get like the pay-per-view box, and then we'd rent the pay-per-view box to watch the WrestleManias or the SummerSlams or whatever event, the Royal Rumble. So we were big into wrestling. As I got older, I got out of it.
Right.
But now that this opportunity has come about, I watch it, but not as religiously as, once upon a time. But now I've been getting way more back into catching up on, of the like era I had missed out on from like 2002 to 2002 to 2012. I think was my gap that I missed out on stuff. So I'm catching up on just for fun, just to learn the old storylines I missed out on and see where things head.
I definitely I'm kind of in the same boat as you there, Shannon. I kind of stopped watching wrestling like in the mid '90s a little bit, like '95, and then I
Mhm.
got back into it, and pretty much the same thing. Like I stopped watching it a little bit in high school, but looking back, and I know you've been rewatching a lot of it. Who are some of your favorite wrestlers or performers now?
I mean, I've always loved Macho Man, Bret Hart.
Wow,
Um,
those are my two all-time favorites, just right there.
there
Just
you
honestly,
go, right there, boom, boom.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I always had so many favorites. I loved, Undertaker is always, he's always gonna have my heart. And then, I love when Kane's storyline got introduced. And then the newer wrestlers now, like I really like Naomi. I really dig her character and her intro.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is great. There's some really good performers right now. Kofi Kingston is awesome. He's got great moves, and I like there's a lot of great wrestlers out there that I really enjoy watching.
I
And Rey Mysterio, I enjoy watching Rey Mysterio.
I love the as right now, the good thing about the WWE in this era is that there's so much available content with the WWE network and things like that, and there's all these
Yeah.
different brands that they have. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity, for people of all walks of life, to join and
Mhm.
try to move into the WWE. But one last thing here to kind of just start to wrap things up. Is there any kind of an upcoming films or projects that you have that you're going to be working on that you want to let anybody know about?
Yeah, I have a Amazon original that's going to start filming at the end of March. It's going to be called Bad Men. It's a post-apocalyptic story um, that where I get to play the sheriff's wife. And when you first meet my character, I'm just the mother and sheriff's wife, and then I get to be zany and funny, which is great. So different from the roles I've been playing. But then I get to kind of step back into the roles I've been playing because then the sheriff goes missing, and then I get to step into the sheriff's shoes and start kicking some ass. So
Oh wow, that's
yeah.
awesome, and I definitely want to look forward to that here soon. And one other thing here before we wrap up here, a lot of people are going to be listening to this, and maybe some people, are hesitant to want to move forward and try things. Do you have any advice or anything you'd like to give anybody and to others that want to get involved in acting?
Um, just know that you can do anything that you want. And there's no reason for you to never do something. You're invincible. You can literally do anything you want if you put your mind to it. If it's something that drives you, something you think about, something you want to do, just do it. Don't stress about um, the little things that you like to put. If anyone is putting blocks up, like, oh, but I have to take care of this, or oh, I need to afford this, you'll figure out a way. Just find a way to start doing it and just do it. Like, things will work themselves out always. And just follow your passion. You have this one life that you're going to live now. And if you do it and you fail or whatever, at least you did it. It's like if you don't do it, then you have a life of regret of what if I would have done it sooner, what I could have been, or what I should have done. It's like, just do it. Just get into a class, or I mean, now you've got these master classes online that you can take just to, get your feet wet while you're, I don't know, going through school or whatever you're doing. Just do it. Just dive into the deep end. I promise you'll figure out how to swim.
That was definitely beautifully said. No, Shannon, almost called you Nora there. That was beautifully said, Shannon. Because as the old adage would say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes,
And
definitely.
one last thing here. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you and reach out to you, what's the best way to do that? If you want to give out any of your social media at this time.
My Instagram's the best way to reach out, and you can direct message me with any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them or point you in the right direction. It's Shannon Murray 101.
All right. Perfect, Shannon. I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this interview with us here. We wish you the best of luck with your tryouts, and we look forward to any upcoming projects you have coming up. We'll definitely check them out and plug them on the show for you. And we look forward actually to having you on the show again.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know what ends up happening with the tryout and Bad Men. Let you know when that's available on Amazon. I don't know how quick the turnaround is, but I know they start filming end of March. It's DE51 Films. If you guys want to look it up. And yeah, I'll just keep you updated as much as I can.
All right, perfect, Shannon. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
All right, Shannon. Bye. Have a good one.
You too.
So that was Shannon Murray, star of Ragdoll. Make sure to check out that film. And man, what a great interview you conducted, Hector.
I appreciate it, my man. She was a great interview as well, man. I loved talking with Shannon. Very down-to-earth girl, very nice, man. And once again, man, please make sure to check out Ragdoll. It's available on all streaming platforms. You can buy it on Google Play, buy it on iTunes. I think it's on Vudu as well. So, anywhere where your streaming capabilities are your preferred streaming platform, go ahead and use it and support the film. Either rent it or buy it.
No doubt. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close out the show. But remember, we're going to try to get a guest on here for the next podcast, a local fighter, to talk about the economics of what this coronavirus is doing to their pocket.
Absolutely. And also, looking at that, what promoters are dealing with too, maybe we can get some insight on that. I think that with the boxing and entertainment industries, shutting down, it's important to take a look at that and some of the real struggles that a lot of these athletes and people in these businesses are going to go through.
No doubt. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close out the show, but thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple iTunes, on Spotify, Spreaker, and everywhere else where you can find it, FrontProof Nation. And make sure, if you have any questions, to reach out to us, fpnation@frontproofmedia.com, or you can reach out at FrontProof Media on Instagram and Twitter. We'll be sure to read your questions online. Anything else you got to say, Hector?
No, that's all, man. Just make sure to subscribe and share the episode. Definitely send us any questions that you have. You can even send it to our personal accounts. I'm Hectorgram on Instagram. Joseph is FrontProof on Instagram, or on Facebook as well. Reach out to us. We're always down to communicate with our fans.